Okay, I had a completely different video planned, but Sony, I mean, I guess you guys are doing this again. We saw it last generation with the PS4 and the PS4 Pro, and now we're getting a PS5 Pro. $700 for this shit when you're not even including a disk drive or a fucking stand for the system, in my opinion, is beyond stupid, and I never thought this was necessary, but here we are, and here's the PS5 Pro. Now, the funniest thing for me in this whole situation is just seeing everybody flame Sony online. So many people have been giving them shit for this, and honestly, rightfully so. $700 for the PS5 Pro when it's essentially a slightly better PS5. To me, that's just, I mean, dude, it's so stupid. This thing it's not even gonna have a stand. It doesn't even have a disk drive. And if you want to get a disk drive, because if you're like me and you actually care about preserving physical media and actually owning the shit you want to buy and play, you're going to have to pay an extra $80. And at the end of the day, you're probably going to be spending $800 or more to get the full PS5 Pro experience. I'm going to be honest with you, if you already own a PS5, this is stupid. Don't do it, man. Just get a regular PS5 if you want discs. If you don't, then just get the regular, digital PS5, but don't go for the PS5 Pro, man. This is such a stupid amount of money for, honestly, a system that is a slight upgrade. It's barely better than the system that came out almost 4 years ago. And honestly, man, I feel like this whole presentation, it was just stupid, man. I mean, they were showing off Spider-Man 2. There is no difference, in my opinion. I saw no difference between Spider-Man 2 running on the PS5 versus the PS5 Pro. I really feel like this is just not necessary. And honestly, unless you're somebody that really just for some reason has like $800 you feel like wasting, yeah, go for the PS5 Pro. I've seen a lot of people saying that Nintendo and Microsoft both have an opportunity to do something hilarious here, specifically Nintendo, and I feel like out of both of those, I'm really more excited to see what Nintendo has next, whether they call it the Super Switch or if they call it the Switch 2. I'm really excited for that next Switch console or that next system, and I feel like if Nintendo really wanted to do something funny, they could definitely announce it anytime soon. I feel like between now and anytime within like probably the next month, if Nintendo were to just drop a bombshell of an announcement like that on Twitter or just on YouTube or somewhere saying this is the Super Switch or this is the Switch 2, whatever, $400 dropping, at this time in 2025. I feel like that would not only break the internet, but that would be so hilarious to witness compared to what Sony just did with this $700 PS5 Pro. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. Personally, I have no plans on getting this. I still have my PS5 from when they first came out back in 2020. I was lucky enough to get one back then because I know for a long ass time it was pretty much impossible to find one, but mine still works. I've taken really good care of mine. Apart from it still working, I have a pretty big backlog of games that I want to finish on the PlayStation 5, and I really just don't see the need in getting this upgrade. I don't see the point. I will say that for storage, yes, the PS5 Pro is going to be coming with, I think, 2 terabytes of storage. So yeah, I mean, you are going to have a lot more room compared to the base PS5s that we've seen in the last few years. But still, I feel like, I mean, if you have an extended storage or if you have an external storage from your PS4 that still works in your PS5, just save up your money, and then get an external storage or an expanded storage later for your PS5, because I really feel like, this just price tag, it's not worth it in my opinion. It's really not worth it, man. Apart from just, the disappointment with this announcement, I feel like Sony just missed a golden opportunity to bring back IPs. I mean, we're looking at so many different IPs that Sony has just had dormant for years. I'm thinking of, Ratchet and Clank. I mean, they could have done a remastered collection. That would have been amazing. It would have sold amazing as well. I don't think that's, that's no secret at all. Jak and Daxter, Resistance, Killzone, Infamous. There's so many IPs that just Sony has lying around. Little Big Planet as well. It's another one that a lot of people mention. And I feel like, this presentation, the PS5 Pro, it would have been, or it was, a golden opportunity for a game like maybe a new Killzone or like a remastered version or a remastered collection of the Infamous games to show off the power of the PS5 Pro. I feel like that would have been perfect. Them showing games that have already been released for a couple of years now, Spider-Man 2. I think there was even some Last of Us 2 remastered footage in there, which, I mean, come on, dude, that's really stupid. That game, first of all, didn't even need a remaster, and now you're showing us remastered footage of a game that didn't need a remaster in the first place to show off the power of your, the next PlayStation 5 system. It just doesn't make sense to me. It's just, again, beyond stupid in my opinion. I really don't know who this PS5 Pro is for. Like what customer they're trying to get here. I mean, again, unless you're somebody who just has to have every system or you're really curious to see the differences between the 5 and the 5 Pro, there's no point, man. There's no point in getting this. I've seen so many people also, giving Sony shit, saying that they're just pulling an Apple now by releasing the same shit and just pricing, or just charging way more than what they did the years before or the year before. And yeah, it's sad to see that. It's sad to see that they're going this way, because at least with Sony, we see that they're doing this, stupid decisions right now with this PS5 Pro. But it makes me curious to see what the future even is then for PlayStation. Like, what's the PS6 not going to have that they're going to be charging us more for? You know what I mean? Or are we even going to get a PS6 at this point? Is it just going to be like, I don't know, upgrades to the PS5 Pro? I have no idea what's going to happen. I'm not saying that this is the end of consoles. I definitely still see us getting a PS6 at some point in the future. But with this PS5 Pro happening and them charging, extra for things like the stand, it's not even going to have a stand. The disc drive. I mean, I definitely don't expect the PS6 or the next Xbox, whatever Microsoft calls that, to still be supporting physical media. I definitely expect the disc drives to be done and dusted by then. But still, I feel like with this PS5 Pro, I have no idea who this is for. Unless you're somebody that has the money to spend on this shit and you've never had a PS5, or maybe you skipped the PS4 generation, you still haven't gotten into this generation and you want to get back into gaming. Again, if you have the money, sure, why not? Go for the PS5 Pro. You're going to spend probably upwards of $800, but that's up to you. But I feel like for, the average consumer, most people, they're not going to be able to just go out and spend $700 in this thing, especially when it doesn't have those things, when you have to pay more to get something as basic and as expected as a stand, or spend $80 or more after tax for the disc drive. It's so stupid to me, man. And again, I cannot reiterate how much I think this was just unnecessary from Sony's part, but it also makes me curious to see what the future holds for them, not only when it comes to the next PlayStation, but also support for this generation. I'm curious to see how game development is going to be going forward into this generation now that we've seen the PS5 Pro and the differences between how strong that is compared to the PS5. How is it going to affect the way that games are now being developed for that base PS5? Because me personally, like I've been saying, I still love my PS5. I still have this thing. It still works the way it did 4 years ago, or almost 4 years ago now. And I intend on, continuing to use it. I'm going to keep using it. I'm not going to stop using my PS5. But again, I don't have the money to get a PS5 Pro. I don't see the point in getting one. But let me know what you think about all this, because honestly, I feel like so many people are just shitting on Sony right now, rightfully so. It's a stupid decision in my opinion. But I also feel like there probably is a good amount of people out there that are going to get this anyways, that are going to pre-order it anyways, and I'd like to hear from them. With all that being said, let me know what you think about this whole situation, what you think of Sony right now, the PS5 Pro. If you have a PS5, if you still haven't, gotten into this generation, and maybe you're convinced with the PS5 Pro, I'd really like to know. My name's Nico. Thank you so much to all of you for watching this video. You already know what to do. I'll see all of you in the next one.